Everybody, and welcome back to the Witching Half Hour or so. I have a very special love here with me today, Lisa Ayers. She is the founder of the Drawing Down the Moon system of Reiki, and we are going to get into her book and her deck and everything today. But I just want to tell you a little bit about this powerhouse of a woman. So she is a teacher and practitioner of Reiki. But behind what she offers as a teacher, she has this wealth of knowledge. So she's bringing aromatherapy to the table. She's a registered holistic nutritionist. And she, like me, found this pagan path back in the 90s. So she's bringing all this wealth of experience to the table. So I'm so glad to have her here with us today. And she's going to lead us through a couple exercises so that we are grounded and just in the right zone to get into everything. So hi, Lisa, how are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm doing really well. I'm really excited. It's a big moment in my life. My first book. It's very exciting.
And I'm sure there's going to be more.
Yes, I have a few in the works right now.
Yay!
All right, let's get right into it. What I was thinking we would do is cards 6 and 7, which are designed to sort of ground us and settle us and just get us connected to the earth. And I think right now, as we're getting really close to Mabon, we're getting close to fall season, we're all sort of feeling that need to sort of hunker back down again and get connected to the earth. So it's good timing. So these two are really simple exercises, and they are the exercises that sort of set the foundation for many of the other exercises that we talk about in the book. So the first one is called Haddo breathing, and it is literally the first sort of relaxation sound that we as humans made, that and relax. Yeah, just breathe in and breathing deep into the belly and really filling up the diaphragm. And then when you breathe out, feel the breath in the back of your throat, and that vibrates your vagus nerve and starts just to bring your whole sympathetic nervous system down. So let's do it one more time. And the next one is called Breath of the Earth. So we use the Haddo breathing, but as we breathe out the Ha, we push our energy into the earth and become one with her. So you can visualize it two different ways. I kind of like to visualize it like if you were to drop an icicle into boiling water, it just sort of melts and becomes part of that water. And that's what you're doing with your energy. You're melting and becoming one with her. Okay, so breathe in. Let yourself drop into the earth. And we'll do that 2 more times. And I always find it's that third one, that power of 3, where it really just settles in and becomes a reality. So thank you for breathing with me and joining me in this space.
Oh, Lisa, I love that visual of the icicle. What a beautiful, beautiful metaphor to describe how we do just drop into, and how natural it is, and how much our energy system is a part of the energy system of the earth as a whole.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Love that. It's fun that you started with number 6. So you sent me a deck and I have been playing with it. So that was the first one I pulled out because I've been
No
shuffling
way.
and I'm just working with the purple cards. So I've been pulling about one a day.
Oh, cool. And that's exactly how you should use them. Exactly. One a day. What's out of whack today? What do I need to work with? What do I need to connect with that's outside of me or that's inside of me that needs to rebalance? So,
So Lisa has this beautiful deck and it is beautiful, guys. I'm going to put so much pictures up and it comes with a book. Now it's called Healing with Ki, and it is the drawing down the moon system of Reiki, but you do not need to be an initiate and a practitioner of Reiki to use this book and this deck. Every single page has so much information, like so much, and not hard to digest information, like really grounded, beautiful wisdom and practical tools. So the deck is split up, guys, like it's split up into 3 sets. I've been working with the purple set. Do you want to tell them about the purple
awesome.
set?
Yeah. Okay. So the purple set is energy, it's inside energy. It's things that are within you that need to be rebalanced. So things like learning to settle and ground again. Then the green ones are external energies, environmental energy. The green and gold are that is the color that we work with when we work with earth energy.
Mhm.
And the purple and silver, of course, is spiritual internal energy. And then the black and rainbow are entities, yes, are entities who want to connect with you and who you can learn to build relationships with and utilize them to shift your energy. The whole thing is we're working with ki, which is chi or prana or life force energy, akasha. Every culture has a name for it. It's
Mhm.
that energy that makes things live and connects us together. And if we are clever souls, we will be able to understand it in our own body, connect with it outside of our body, and then manipulate it, right? That's what magic is. That's what prayer is. That's what Qigong, Tai Chi, karate, all of the martial arts. We're working with that same energy to create an outcome that we are intending.
And you can feel, well, I can feel the intention in the cards. And can you talk to me about and tell everyone about the authenticity of the symbolism? Because each card has a beautiful, and it's Japanese language on it.
Yes, that one, that was, thank you for asking me that. That was really important to me. Reiki originated and it was what sort of started me on this journey. So Reiki originated in Japan in the 1920s, before the World War. The Japanese culture and language was different back then. After World War II, America came in, the language changed, the culture changed. Many things went underground and were hidden, and many things were lost. And they speak another language than we do. So when the exercises and the lessons came to the West, we lost a lot of the spirituality of the lessons. We lost the authenticity of the language, and we lost the meaning behind the words that we were using. And so I really wanted to bring that back into honor the language because words have power. And
Yes.
if we're using them incorrectly, from we're not, or we don't understand what we're saying, then there's no value in it. I worked with this wonderful, wonderful woman whose family moved from Japan to Brazil early on before the World War. So they had those roots with the old Japanese. And she is a linguist. She studied at the University of British Columbia. She studied ancient Japanese culture and modern Japanese culture and Japanese language. And so I asked her to help me ensure that each and every one of these characters is accurate and says what it's meant to say. So that was really important to me.
And I mean, flipping through the cards, like obviously I'm here on the witching half hour or so because I'm intuitive. But like there is an energy to them. Like, this is
And
what got me so excited. Like, I got my package and I sat on my little sofa, and my kids are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just loving this." Like, even my kids could tell. They're like, "What are you doing?" Because they ignore me all the time. They're teenagers. Like, "What do you got there, mom?" Because they have such an energy to them. And I don't really use my Reiki anymore. I've been through all of my 3 degrees. I
Mhm,
typically have used it with my family and friends and not with clients. That's not how I was called to, but it just activates that vibe when you're shuffling them
mhm.
and working with them. And the book that goes with it, I can't decide what I'm more excited about. Like, honestly, because
Well, thank you.
I love working with cards. So I know once I'm familiar with the deck, I know I'll be able to like draw it and pull it and work with it in that way. And a lot of the concepts in it are things a lot of us are familiar with. Like, you have a card for each of the chakras. You have ascended masters in the black ones that a lot of us are familiar with. Like, if I just pull one just randomly of the blacks, we have, well, I can't say the Japanese. I pulled number 39, most powerful guide. So definitely
Mhm.
tapping into that idea of source, or that highest and best that's always working for you, right? Another one is patron goddess, right? So
Mhm.
anytime you don't know where to turn, you can grab one of these black cards and go, okay, I'm going to do my meditation. I'm going to get in touch. Where do I go for my wisdom? And I feel like it will work like a compass, right? Just kind of
Yeah.
pointing you towards the wisdom. And I so love the exercises you have, because reading through them, they feel empowering. You're calling your students into their power so that they can discover what they need.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. And that's exactly it. As a practitioner, as a teacher, it has never been my job to sort of lord over.
Mm-hmm.
It's my job to be a gateway. Did you know about this? Have you learned about this? I've been, and it's fascinating. I had a client just a couple weeks ago, and while I was in getting ready for the treatment, I was like, I'll just listen to something on YouTube. And what I ended up listening to was like the 6-minute advertisement for this book that I was like, oh, this book sounds really cool. And that my client that day was a student of the author of this book who had gone through the author's entire training. And I kept getting this book kept coming to mind, coming to mind. Finally, I was like, you tell you about this book. And he said, yeah, I've left my training and I really miss it. I said, why don't you go back? Oh, you need to go back. And so it's so much of this that I hope the cards help people to connect with what they need.
Yes. So, and now tell me about birthing this project. Tell me the story. I want to know it all. The earbud coven needs to know, how did this deck get birthed out of you?
So I've always been a writer. I have written all of my manuals for all the classes that I do. I write rituals and meditations all the time. And when COVID came, I thought, okay, I'm going to rewrite everything again and just spruce it up and modernize it and bring it together. So I did all that. And when I finished, that night I had a dream, and the dream was very clear. Like, no, card number 1 is this, card number 2 is this. And I woke up and I just wrote it all down in my shadows. I was like, okay, that's what I got to do. And then I was like, oh, okay, I have to do this now because I've been told so clearly exactly what to do, what colors to use, what numbers to use, everything. I thought I can't say no to this. So I didn't, and I have been on a path of not saying no.
I
So
think that's what we should rename this crooked path. I've been calling it the crooked path, right? And we should just call it like the path of saying yes.
yes,
The
yes.
path of yes and because it is once I've found this with, you know, my own self and with people I interview that it's yes and right. You start down
Yeah.
this path and then you go, all right, I'm I mean, it's a phenomenal accomplishment. But what I'm hearing in your story is that for you, because you've been writing so much, this was the next logical step. Like
100%.
birthing a book is a big deal. Like that is a big deal. But it's not like you woke up with your first degree of Reiki and did this. You have been teaching and facilitating and mentoring people for years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now we
for
have the
decades.
decades, right? I know. Have you ever do that? Do you ever look at like, I write things and I'm like, I've been on, I'm like 20 years.
I know.
How long have I been? So I've started to say since I was 17 or since the 90s.
When did it happen that when you were a kid and it was the 70s and everything came from the 70s and that's what your parents did and it was old? When
Mm-hmm.
did the 90s that?
I don't know. I think when my daughter started mocking my music, and our
Yeah,
music is on like the classic rock station now.
it's okay. It's okay. It's all
Right?
part of growing into crondom, right?
Yes. Yes. I've been working with that. I really love that word. And one of the reasons I love it is because I feel like people have tried to disempower the crone. So
Yes,
anything that mainstream society is telling me is yucky and gooey and you don't want to be that as a woman, it's probably powerful. And I wrote an essay once and just like thinking about the idea of the crone, and I thought, there's all these movies, like you think about Snow White and you think about Sleeping Beauty, and you think about like this image of this gnarled nasty old crone. So in order to defeat a granny, you have to send the most brave young man in the world, right? And I was like, so somewhere behind all of this there's deep wisdom that once we're through our maidenhood and our motherhood, our wisdom is so powerful,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
We're our lives, and I'm a mother, and I know you're a mother. I have no problem, putting things down and aside from my kids. It's a choice I made. I'm happy to do it. But once they get older, we get to really come back to who we are, and it's a very powerful position.
It is. And it is for all women, whether they put things down or not. There's this moment of freedom and reinvention and re-understanding that comes. And power. I never thought of myself as a mother. As a child, I always imagined myself as a grandmother.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. You are an
So,
old
and
soul, girl.
I get and I was always told at 40, that's when things are going to happen. But then COVID came and things kind of got bumped a little bit. So I feel like I'm still on track.
Yeah.
100%. Once I sort of hit that age and crondom is coming, and my children are getting to the point where they might start looking for life partners and they might actually get pregnant one day soon. Like these things are coming in my life, whether, whether I'm ready or not. The book just happened. Editors fell into my lap, designers fell into my lap, people who were willing to help make it happen. Like it all literally just fell into my lap. Marketing people. And I was like, well, like, I can't say no to this. Like, this clearly needs to happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's a success or not, this information, the world is ready for this information. And we are ready to shift our energy up a few notches, a few notches, so that we can make the changes we need to make. And that happens with accepting your own power and understanding how to use it. Yeah.
I like that. And I love how you're framing success in that the the purpose of the book is to get the information into the world. Like it needs to be into the world, whether it's on the New York Times bestseller or not, that's outside of your control. What's
Mhm.
part of your purpose is to get it in the world.
100%. And that's why I really want to hammer home that it doesn't matter whether you have Reiki or not. The intention is you have a connection to this energy because you are alive for
Yes.
no other reason. You're alive, you're connected to this energy. You can do this work. Anyone can do it if they want to. And with a little bit of effort. It's nice to have a teacher and someone to guide you.
Mhm.
It goes a little bit faster, but you can do it without that, right? So it's there now. If it's a year and a day, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I'm just going to sit in that vibe, like just for 1 second. I love it. I'm excited about when I start to do spreads with it,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm
Mm,
not there yet. I'm just slowly picking through it. And I love in the book you have QR codes in the book that link to exercise, that link to more information. So you can dive in as deep as you want to. So
yeah.
tell me about making that decision, because that creates a whole new level of book writing, because it
It
almost
does.
feels alive, like it's in this world that we live in now where we're all interconnected through this beautiful, sometimes wonderful and amazing machine called the internet that has you and me in our houses talking and gives us amazing cat videos and dog videos, but
Yeah.
also has another side to it.
But that is the way of the world. There's light and there's dark, there's good and there's bad. It's always about balance, regardless. And I think it's a wonderful tool and I love to use it. What I found when I was writing is that to describe in words exactly how you should be feeling during the meditation and what you should be focusing on, it takes away from the meditation. So I thought, well, why don't I just walk them through it? If they were in class, I wouldn't say, go home with this, with this sheet and do this meditation. I would walk them through it and we would talk about it, right? That we would have community and we would have a time to chat about it. And with a video on YouTube, people can put comments in. They can talk with each other. They can talk about what they've been experiencing. They can send me a message and say, hey, this weird thing happened to me. And I can be like, okay, well, let's talk it through, right? And you don't get that in just by reading a book. And I believe that if you are going to be a leader and a teacher, you need to be available to your students. And so hopefully YouTube uh, creates that opportunity for people.
I find it
Mhm.
also honors that not everyone learns by reading a book. There's a lot of
100%.
people who struggle with concentration. There's people who struggle with traditional linear thinking and traditional linear education. So to
Mm,
have these extras, like, and to me, it makes it like a living, breathing book. It's not a book on my shelf. It's connected to this internet, which is like this living, breathing entity.
yeah, yeah, that's a cool way of thinking of it. Thank you. I was thinking of it from a teacher's point of view, but you're so funny because exactly right. As I am learning, people learn many, many different ways,
Mhm.
whether that is through audio or visual or reading or tactile touching. And when we get into some of the rituals, I don't talk about do this exactly this way. I say, consider bringing in colors. You should research which colors are appropriate, what works for you, what works with the energy you're trying to connect with to help to build the layers of intent into your ritual. That because that layer of intent makes a ritual so much richer, so much stronger, and so much more tactile in your hands. And it's yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it was interesting when we were talking about the language and how important it was for you to use the language correctly.
Mhm.
Spells and spelling. Spells come from the word spelling. Like in our language, in our English language at least, they're intrinsically tied. Our spoken word and creating intention is tied even in our language that way. So the way we say things in ritual is important. And that I feel anyway, and when I teach my students, choose your own wording because that's your essence that comes from your desire and from your intention, and things should feel beautiful and joyful and amazing to you when you're doing your work, because it's out of this place of joyfulness that we create our best spells.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much easier to look at something we find aesthetically pleasing on our altar and to incant words that roll off our tongue beautifully than it is
Mm.
to do something because my teacher said so. And I think
Yes.
that's part of how you teach is you invite the student to take that next step, to dive in and examine and then check back and say, what do you think about this? Or I found this. Like, it's very conversational. Are you teaching
Yeah.
any live classes anymore? Because I know you teach.
So I'm teaching a level 1 coming up real soon, actually. And it's going to be a retreat in the forest. So I'm really excited about that one. So we're going to do aura readings at the beginning. We're going to learn the history of Reiki. We're going to go into the forest, have a forest bath, like a 3-hour forest bath, do our attunements, and then come back and learn more about Reiki. So I'm really excited about that one. That happens in October. I am always willing to teach people who want to become teachers. It's a 1-year apprenticeship. So I've got an apprentice right now. So she's working through that, which means that I'll probably be teaching, a couple of level 1s and a couple of level 2s. So yeah, it'll be a busy year, but it's good. I love teaching. Every single class is a learning experience for me and brings me up another level, which is amazing.
It's interesting. I never understood that until I started teaching. That
Mhm.
I always feel like I'm learning more and being so enriched by my students. And I'm like, are are you sure like you need to say thank you to me? It should be the other way around. Like
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, yeah, we get as much out of our students as they get out of us, hopefully,
Mhm.
even more, I think, a lot of times. A lot of times. Yeah, it's a beautiful relationship. I've worked with some students now for 15 years, some of them. Yeah. I hope that students will be willing to stick around and stay part of the community and mentor younger students as they come through. Yeah.
We can always find out what you're teaching on your website, right?
Yes.
Is that the
The
best place
website,
to find you?
yeah, probably. And Facebook is usually really up to date as well. I know it's old school, but a lot of
That's
people still
okay.
use Facebook for events.
Do you want to tell us your website then?
It's drawing down the moon system of Reiki.ca. Simple and long, I know, but it's the name.
That's
Do
okay.
you want to know? Do you want to know why I call it drawing down the moon?
I do. Oh, yes, please. Please.
When we draw down the moon, we're embracing and embodying the goddess. The goddess is a feminine energy. The moon is the feminine energy. The moon is our natural cycles. The goddess and the moon are in charge of healing, nurturing, herbalism, aromatherapy. All that is encompassed in what I teach. So when I teach Reiki, I always teach opening a sacred circle, connecting with your cycles, understanding your intuition. I usually talk about aromatherapy and herbalism and nutrition because I know it. So it's a holistic system. So that's why I called it drawing down, because we are drawing down that essence of feminine healing.
I really feel that's what our world needs right now. We need that compassionate, nurturing, powerful wisdom.
Yeah, agreed. And hopefully we can all make that connection to that wisdom in our own way and be strong enough to share it with the world.
Oh my God, that is the most perfect wish to end on. Lisa.
Jackie, thank you for having me.
Oh, I am so happy to have had you. I'm so happy to have had you. So everyone, go and get Lisa's deck and her book and check out Drawing Down the Moon, System of Reiki. Go check it out. And I can't imagine who it doesn't resonate with. That's what I'm saying.
Aw, thank you.
Was that fun?
It's fun. Yeah, I think we covered the lots. Hopefully it sounds exciting.
I'm going to press stop recording.